Mahal na mahal kita, Carl, pero mas mahal mo pala ang kapatid ko. Yun ang mga salitang paulit-ulit na tumatakbo sa isip ni Kenya Ariola, kasabay ng mga luhang walang tigil sa pag-agos. Nakaupo siya sa malamig na sahig ng dressing room ng simbahan, yung maganda niyang wedding gown na minsan niyang pinangarap, ngayon ay parang balabal na lang ng kahihiyan. Sa labas, naririnig niya ang malamyos na tugtog ng organ, ang bulungan ng mga bisita. Pero dito sa loob, ang tanging naririnig niya ay ang hagigika ng dalawang taong pinagkatiwalaan niya ng buong puso, ang fiancé niyang si Carl, at ang sarili niyang kapatid, si Haley. Grabe, babe, ang galing mong umarte kanina. Akala talaga ni Ate Kenya, in love ka sa kanya. Yun ang boses ni Haley, puno ng panunuya. Siyempre naman, babe. Anything for you and for Lolo's inheritance, di ba? Sagot naman ni Carl, at nagtawanan sila na parang wala silang sinasaktang tao. Parang sinaksak ng paulit-ulit si Kenya. Hindi lang pala siya niloko, ginamit pa. The betrayal cut deeper than any knife. Galit. Sakit. Hiya. Lahat naghalo-halo. Hindi na niya kaya. Bigla siyang napatayo. Yung makeup niya, wasak na. Yung pangarap niya, durog na. Without a second thought, tinanggal niya yung belo, hinubad yung mamahaling sapatos, at tumakbo. Tumakbo siya palabas ng dressing room, palabas ng simbahan, nilagpasan ang mga naguguluhang bisita, ang mga nagtatakang magulang. Wala siyang pakialam. Ang gusto lang niya, makalayo. Makalayo sa sakit, sa kahihiyan, sa dalawang taong sumira sa buhay niya. Nakarating siya sa terminal ng bus ng San Rafael, basang-basa ng pawis at luha, yung wedding gown niya, medyo punit na sa lailayan. Napaupo siya sa isang tabi, humahagulgol, hindi alam kung saan pupunta, hindi alam kung anong gagawin. She felt so lost, so alone. Miss, okay ka lang? Isang mahinahon na boses ang pumukaw sa kanya. Nag-angat siya ng tingin. Isang lalaki ang nakatayo sa harap niya, nakauniporme ng janitor, ay hawak na walis tingting. Payat ito, medyo gusgusin tingnan, pero yung mga mata niya. Yung mga mata niya, parang may kwento. Malalim. At may kakaibang lambing. Mukhang kailangan mo ng tulong, sabi ulit nung janitor, iniabot sa kanya ang isang maliit na panyo. Halatang luma na pero malinis. Kenya just stared at him, then at the handkerchief. Isang estranghero. Isang janitor. Pero sa mga oras na to, siya lang ang nandyan. Siya lang ang nakakita sa kahinaan niya. Sa gitna ng kanyang mga luha, sa gitna ng kanyang pagkalito at galit, isang kakatuwang ideya ang pumasok sa isip ni Kenya. Isang desperadong ideya. Isang ideyang alam niyang kabaliwan, pero parang yun lang ang tanging paraan para makatakas, para maipamukha sa lahat na hindi siya talunan. Tumingin siya sa janitor, yung mga mata niya, puno pa rin ng luha pero may bago ng kislap, isang kislap ng desperasyon at isang kakaibang tapang. Anong pangalan mo? Tanong ni Kenya, yung boses niya, medyo paos. Pipoy po, sagot ng janitor, medyo nagtataka. Kenya took deep breath. This was insane. Pero wala na siyang pakialam. Pipoy, sabi niya, trying to sound as calm as possible despite the turmoil inside her. Pwede ba kitang pakasalan? Natigilan si Pipoy. Yung walis tingting na hawak niya, muntik nang mabitawan. Napatingin siya kay Kenya, mula ulo hanggang paa, sa maganda nitong wedding gown na ngayon ay gusot-gusot na, sa wasak nitong makeup, sa mga mata nitong namumugto pero may determinasyon. For a long moment, Pipoy just stood there, silent. Parang pinoproseso pa ng utak niya ang kakatuwang tanong ng babaeng nasa harap niya. Then, slowly, a small, almost imperceptible smile touched the corner of Pipoy's lips. He didn't say yes. He didn't say no, he just smiled. Isang ngiting hindi maintindihan ni Kenya kung ano ang ibig sabihin. Pag-unawa? Awa? O baka naman interes? Ang gulat, lungkot, at takot na nararamdaman ni Kenya kanina, biglang nahaluan ng isang bagong emosyon, pagtataka. Sino ba tong janitor na to? At bakit, sa kabila ng kabaliwan ng tanong niya, parang hindi ito nabigla? Parang may alam ito na hindi niya alam? The terminal remained noisy, the buses came and went, but for Kenya and Pipoy, it was as if they were in their own little world, a world where a runaway bride could ask, janitor to marry her, and he would just smile. The future was uncertain, terrifying even. But in that strange, desperate moment, Kenya felt teeny, almost insignificant flicker of something. Hindi pag-asa. Siguro pagka-curious. At yun, para sa kanya, ay sapat na. For now. The wedding, if you could even call it that, was as impromptu and bizarre as Kenya's proposal. Kinabukasan, sa maliit at medyo maalikabok na barangay hall ng Biirjith. Mabini, neighboring, much quieter town from San Rafael, Kenya Ariola and Pipoy, whose real name, she learned from his faded cedula, was Philip Reyes, stood before sleepy-looking barangay captain. Walang puting gown si Kenya, kundi yung suot pa rin niyang damit nung tumakas siya, na medyo nalabhan lang ng konti sa isang public seat. Si Pipoy, naka-uniforme pa rin ng janitor, yung walis tingting niya, nakasandal lang sa gilid. Ang mga witness. Si Manang Lolit, ang barangay secretary na halatang nagpipigil ng tawa, at si Mang Cardo, ang tanod na napadaan lang para magkape. It was the most unromantic, most unceremonial wedding imaginable. Parang eksena sa isang indie film na low budget. Do you, Kenya Ariola, take Philip Reyes, to be your lawfully wedded husband? Tanong ng barangay captain, halatang inaantok pa. Kenya looked at Pipoy. He was just standing there, quiet as usual, his hands clasped behind his back. His face was unreadable. Pero yung mga mata niya, they were looking at her, not with love, or even affection, but with a strange, steady calmness. Parang sinasabi, sige lang. Nandito lang ako. Kenya whispered, her voice barely audible. The words felt foreign, unreal. And do you, Philip Reyes, take Kenya Ariola, to be your lawfully wedded wife? Pipoy didn't hesitate. Opo. He said, his voice surprisingly firm and clear. And just like that, they were married. Isang kasal na walang love story. Walang ligawan, walang engagement, walang pangarap. Just desperate act born out of pain and a strange, impulsive decision. After the ceremony, which lasted all of 10 minutes, Kenya felt a wave of panic. Anong ginawa ko? Nagpakasal siya sa isang janitor na halos hindi niya kilala? Para saan? Para ipamukha kina Carl at Hali na hindi siya talunan? Was her pride really worth this? Pipoy seemed to sense her turmoil. Gutom ka na siguro, he said softly. May maliit na karinderya dito sa labas. Pwede tayong kumain ng instant noodles. Instant noodles for their wedding reception. How fitting, Kenya thought he or Yev. They ended up in Pipoy's tibahay, teeny, one-room shack made of corrugated iron sheets and salvaged wood, tucked away in a squatter's area near the town's dump site. It was far from the Ariola mansion Kenya grew up in. The place was small, cramped, and smelled faintly of dump site. Pero, surprisingly, it was clean. Neat, even. May maliit na papag sa isang sulok, isang lumang mesa na may 2 bangko, at isang maliit na kalan kung saan nagpakulo si Pipoy ng tubig para sa kanilang wedding feast of instant mommy. Habang kumakain sila, tahimik lang si Pipoy as usual. Si Kenya naman, she couldn't stop herself. The anger, the pain, the humiliation from yesterday's betrayal, it all came pouring out. Ang kapal ng mukha nila, Pipoy. Kenya ranted, her voice thick with tears, yung instant noodles niya, halos hindi na niya malasahan. Imagine, Jilay own sister. And Carl. Pinagkatiwalaan ko sila. Minahal ko si Carl. For 3 years. Tapos ganito lang. Para lang pala akong tanga na pinapaikot nila. Pipoy just listened, occasionally nodding, his expression sympathetic. Hindi siya nagsasalita, pero yung paraan ng pakikinig niya, yung paraan ng pagtitig niya, parang naiintindihan niya lahat. And if parents. Sigurado, galit na galit yun sa akin ngayon. Kenya continued, her voice cracking. Iniwan ko sila sa kahihiyan. Pero anong magagawa ko? Hindi ko kayang magpakasal sa isang lalaking niloloko lang pala ako. She looked at Pipoy then, new wave of panic washing over her. Oh SW God, Pipoy. What have I done? Nagpakasal ako sa'yo. Paano na to? Pipoy put down his chopsticks. Kenya, he said, his voice calm. Tapos na. Kasal na tayo. Wala na tayong magagawa kundi harapin to. Harapin? Kenya cried. Paano? Anong sasabihin ko sa pamilya ko? Sa mga kaibigan ko? Na iyong fiancé kong mayaman, ipinagpalit ko sa isang janitor. The words sounded cruel, even to her own ears, but she couldn't stop them. The fear and regret were too strong. Pipoy didn't flinch. He just looked at her, his eyes steady. Kung yan ang tingin mo sa akin, Kenya, wala akong magagawa. Pero sana, wag mong isipin na ginamit kita. Pumayag akong pakasalan ka dahil nakita kong kailangan mo ng tulong. At dahil may sarili rin akong dahilan. Sariling dahilan? Anong ibig niyang sabihin? Nami wanted to ask, but she was too exhausted, too emotionally drained. The next few days were a blur. Kenya stayed with Pipoy in his small shack. She tried to adjust to her new life, a life so drastically different from the one she was used to. Walang aircon, walang malambot na kama, walang katulong. She learned to cook on charcoal stove, to wash clothes with hand, to sleep on a hard papag with Pipoy beside her, though he always made sure to keep respectful distance, a rolled-up banig separating them. It was a strange, almost surreal existence. At night, they would talk, or rather, Kenya would talk, and Pipoy would listen. She'd tell him about her broken heart, her shattered dreams, her anger towards Carl and Hallie. Pipoy would just listen patiently, occasionally offering a quiet word of comfort, or surprisingly insightful observation. One afternoon, while Pipoy was out, he still worked as a janitor at the terminal. Kenya found herself scrolling through her social media. She saw photos from her almost wedding, her friends looking confused, her parents looking devastated. Then, she saw Hallie's post, a picture of her and Carl, looking smug and happy, with caption, "Some storms are blessings in disguise." #True love wins #Minto. Nanggigil si Kenya. Ang kapal. She quickly took a selfie, her, in Pipoy's small, humble shack, her hair mess, no makeup, but with defiant glint in her eyes. She posted it with caption, "Iniwan sa altar. No problem. Found diva real happiness in the simplest of places. With the realest man. #No regrets #blessed #simpleng buhay is the best." Then, she took photo of Pipoy's sleeping form from the night before. He looked surprisingly peaceful, almost boyish in his sleep, and posted it with a heart emoji and the caption, "The unexpected plot twist. Wouldn't have it any other way. #me Pipoy #hubby." She knew it was petty. She knew it was childish. Pero may kung anong satisfaction siyang naramdaman. Ipamukha sa kanila. Ipakita sa kanilang hindi siya wasak. When Pipoy came home that evening, he saw Kenya scrolling through her phone, a strange, almost manic smile on her face. "Anong meron?" he asked. "Wala," Kenya said, quickly hiding her phone. "Nag-a-update lang sa fans ko." Pipoy just looked at her, a knowing look in his eyes. He didn't say anything. He just started preparing their dinner, another packet of instant noodles, but this time, he added a freshly picked kangkong from a neighbor's small garden patch. While they were eating, Pipoy pulled out his old, battered wallet. Nami saw him take out a small, faded photograph. It was the picture of a young child, a little girl with bright, laughing eyes. Pipoy looked at the photo for a long moment, a sad, tender smile on his face. Then, he carefully tucked it back into his wallet. Nami wanted to ask who the child was, but she didn't. There were still so many secrets between them, so many unspoken words. That night, as they lay on their separate sides of the papag, Kenya couldn't help but glance at Pipoy. He was already asleep, his breathing even and soft. This man, this janitor who had agreed to marry her on a whim, sino ba talaga siya? Anong mga kwento ang tinatago ng mga mata niyang malalim? That kunwaring pagmamahalan was in full swing, at least on social media. Pero sa totoong buhay, it was a complicated mess of unspoken feelings, hidden pasts, and a growing, undeniable attraction. Nami felt a strange tug in her heart. Takang may halong kilig. She was supposed to be using Pipoy for revenge. But Cavus did it feel like she was the one slowly being drawn into his quiet, mysterious world. And Cavus did part of her like it. Weeks turned into a month. Kenya and Pipoy's marriage settled into a surprisingly comfortable, if unconventional, routine. Kenya, to her own surprise, started to adapt to their simple life. Natuto siyang magtipid, magluto ng mga simpleng ulam, bukod sa instant noodles, at mag-appreciate ng mga maliliit na bagay, yung amoy ng kape ni Pipoy sa umaga, yung kwentuhan nila habang naghahapunan ng tuyo at sinangag, yung katahimikan ng gabi na binabasag lang ng huni ng mga kuliglig. Pipoy remained a man of few words, but his actions spoke volumes. He was consistently maalaga, always making sure Kenya was comfortable, always listening patiently to her rants about Carl and Hallie, though they were becoming less frequent now. He never complained, never demanded anything from her. He was just there. A steady, quiet presence in her chaotic life. At si Kenya, yung galit niya, unti-unti nang napapalitan ng something else. Something that felt dangerously close to affection. She found herself looking forward to his quiet smiles, his occasional dry wit, the way his eyes would crinkle at the corners when he found something amusing. She even started to miss him when he was out working his janitor job. Oh no, Kenya, anong nangyayari sa'yo? Remember the plan. Revenge. One Saturday, Pipoy seemed unusually nervous. Kenya, he said, habang nag-aalmusal sila ng pandesal at kape. Kailangan nating pumunta sa bahay ko. Yung totoo kong bahay. Napakunot ang noo ni Kenya. Totoo mong bahay? Akala ko ba ito na yun? She gestured around their small shack. Pipoy shook his head. Hindi. Ito yung tinutuluyan ko lang pansamantala. Yung totoong bahay ko nasa Isla de Clara. Isla de Clara? Yun yung exclusive island resort na sikat sa mga mayayaman at turista. Anong ginagawa ng bahay ng isang janitor doon? Sige, sabi ni Kenya, her curiosity piqued. Pero paano tayo pupunta doon? Mahal ang pamasahe sa bangka. Ako na nang bahala, Pipoy said, a strange look in his eyes. Later that day, Kenya found herself riding rickety tricycle with Pipoy, her designer handbag, one of the few things she managed to salvage from her old life, clutched tightly in her lap. Nakaheels pa siya, feeling completely out of place. The tricycle ride was bumpy and dusty, and Kenya couldn't help but wonder what kind of bahay Pipoy had in Isla de Clara. Siguro, isa na namang barong-barong, pero malapit sa beach. After a short boat ride, which Pipoy paid for, much to Kenya's surprise, they arrived at Isla de Clara. It was even more beautiful and exclusive than she remembered from a family vacation years ago. Pristine white sand beaches, crystal clear waters, lush greenery. And then, they were standing in front of a massive, wrought iron gate, guarded by two stern-looking security personnel in crisp uniforms. The gate opened slowly, majestically, revealing a long, winding driveway lined with palm trees, leading to a mansion. Hindi lang basta mansion. It was a sprawling, Mediterranean-style villa, si palasyo, na nakatayo sa ibabaw ng isang burol, overlooking the entire island. May infinity pool, may malawak na hardin, at may helicopter pad. Napaawang ang bibig ni Kenya. Napaupo siya sa marmol na sahig ng grand entrance hall sa sobrang gulat. This couldn't be Pipoy's house. Impossible. Pipoy, she stammered, her eyes wide with disbelief. Anong lugar to? Pipoy just stood there, looking a little sheepish, a little guilty. This is in my home, Kenya. O, mas tamang sabihin, bahay ng pamilya ko. Pamilya mo? Kenya felt her head spin. Pero akala ko janitor ka? Pipoy sighed, running key hand through his hair. That's a long story, Kenya. He led her inside, through a series of opulently furnished rooms, each one more breathtaking than the last. Finally, they reached a large veranda overlooking the ocean. An elderly man, distinguished and with an air of quiet authority, was sitting there, reading a newspaper. He looked up as they approached, and a warm smile spread across his face. Philip, anak. Mabuti naman at naisipan mong umuwi, the old man said, then his eyes landed on Kenya. And you must be Kenya. I've heard so much about you. He stood up and offered his hand. I am Don Rafael Montecillo, Philip's grandfather. Philip. So, Pipoy's real name was Philip Montecillo. Montecillo as in Montecillo Construction Empire. One of the biggest, wealthiest, and most powerful families in the country. Kenya felt like she was going to faint. Ang janitor na pinakasalan niya ang tahimik at gusgusing si Pipoy ay tagapagmana pala ng isang construction empire. Gulat. Pagkahiya. At isang malaking-malaking. What the actual yeah? Lolo, this is Kenya Ariola Dinvi wife, Pipoy. No, Philip said, his voice a little strained. Don Rafael chuckled. Wife, indeed. Your Lolo Rolando certainly has a flair for the dramatic, doesn't he? He gestured for them to sit. Please, make yourselves comfortable. I'm sure you have a lot to talk about. Once Don Rafael had excused himself, leaving them alone on the veranda, Kenya finally found her voice. Philip Montecillo, she said, her voice trembling with a mixture of anger and disbelief. All this time, niloloko mo lang ako. Janitor. Barong-barong sa tabi ng basurahan? Ano yun? Poverty porn para sayo. Philip winced at her words. Kenya, please, let me explain. Explain what, Philip? Kenya cried, tears welling up in her eyes. Na yung lalaking pinakasalan ko, yung lalaking akala ko kasama ko sa hirap, yung lalaking unti-unti ko nang minamahal. She couldn't finish the sentence. The pagkahiya was too much. Minahal niya ang isang kasinungalingan. Hindi kasinungalingan yung nararamdaman ko para sayo, Kenya, Philip said, his voice earnest, his eyes pleading. Nagsinungaling ako tungkol sa pagkatao ko. Pero yung pag-aalaga ko sayo, yung pakikinig ko sayo, yung pagmamahal ko sayo lahat yun, totoo. Paano ako maniniwala sayo? Kenya sobbed. Your whole life here it's been a lie. Philip sighed, deep, weary sound. It's complicated, Kenya. You a family in my Lolo Rolando, yung nag-arrange ng kasal natin, he's not actually my grandfather. He's this my father's business rival. Long story short, he found out about Dimba's situation and he used it to his advantage. He wanted to merge our companies through a marriage between me and his granddaughter. I refused. I ran away. I wanted to live the simple life, away from all the drama, the expectations, the lies of every world. So, yung pagiging pipoy mo. Yun ang simple life mo. Kenya asked, her voice laced with sarcasm. Sinubukan kong mamuhay ng simple, Kenya, Philip said, his voice laced with a hint of defensiveness. Sinubukan kong kilalanin ang tunay na tao, yung mga taong hindi tumitingin sa apelyido ko o sa pera ng pamilya ko. At ikaw yung nakita ko. Hindi mo man lang ako tinanong kung sino talaga ako. Tinanggap mo ako kahit paano. Kasi akala ko, totoo ka. Kenya cried. Akala ko, pareho lang tayo ng pinagdadaanan. Pero yung hirap mo pala, choice mo lang. Yung sa akin, Felipe, yung sa akin, realidad. The words hung heavy between them. The gulat, the pagkahiya, the sense of betrayal, it was all too much for Kenya. She had allowed herself to care for him, to trust him, to even love him. And it was all built on a foundation of lies. I'm sorry, Kenya, Philip whispered, his voice filled with pain that mirrored her own. I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. But the damage was done. The janitor she had married, the man she was slowly falling for, was Eli. And Kenya didn't know if she could ever trust him, or her own heart, again. Ang janitor na may sekretong mansion. Ang pag-ibig na nagsimula sa isang desperadong kasunduan. Ang pusong muling nasaktan, muling nalinlang. The kilig she had started to feel was now replaced by a bitter taste of disappointment and a profound sense of foolishness. How could she have been so blind? The revelation of Paypoy's true identity as Philip Montesilu, heir to a construction empire, left Kenya reeling. Pakiramdam niya, yung buong mundo niya, yung munting mundo na sinubukan niyang buuin kasama si Pipoy, ay gumuho. For days, she kept her distance from Philip, staying in the guest room of the opulent Montesilu mansion, na parang mas malaki pa sa buong Reef. Mabini, trying to process everything. Ginagamit lang ba siya ni Felipe? O siya ba ang gumagamit dito para sa kanyang revenge plot against Carl and Hallie? The kalituhan was overwhelming. Philip, for his part, gave her space, but his eyes, whenever they met, were filled with a mixture of regret, longing, and a quiet plea for understanding. He tried to explain, to apologize, but Kenya wasn't ready to listen. The hurt was still too raw, the betrayal too fresh. Laro lang ba to lahat, Philip? She asked him one evening, her voice cold and distant as they sat in the mansion's enormous dining hall, a long, polished table separating them. Is this another game for you rich people? Yung experience poverty for a month challenge, tapos ako yung naging collateral damage. Hindi, Kenya, please, wag mong isipin yan, Philip said, his voice pained. Totoo yung nararamdaman ko para sa'yo. Yung pagiging pipoy ko, yun ang paraan ko para makatakas sa pressure ng pamilya ko. Sa arranged marriage na ayaw ko. At ikaw yung naging kanlungan ko. Ikaw yung nagparamdam sa akin na pwede palang maging normal. Normal? Kenya scoffed. Walang normal dito, Philip. Ang normal, hindi nagsisinungaling. Ang normal, hindi nagpapanggap. Despite her anger, despite her confusion, Kenya couldn't deny the growing admiration she felt for Philip, or at least, for that pipoy persona he had shown her. Yung kabaitan niya, yung pasensya niya, yung consistency niya sa pag-aalaga sa kanya, those things were real. She had seen it, felt it, and key part of her, key very stubborn part, missed that pipoy. Missed the simplicity of their life in the shack, the shared instant noodles, the quiet conversations under the stars. One afternoon, while wandering through the mansion's sprawling gardens, she still felt like an intruder, a trespasser in this world of unimaginable wealth. Kenya saw Philip. He wasn't dressed in his usual expensive clothes. Nakasimpleng t-shirt lang siya at shorts, yung buhok niya, medyo magulo. And he was playing with a group of children, mga anak na mga katulong at hardinero sa mansyon. They were laughing, running around, their faces bright with joy. Philip was down on his knees, letting them climb on his back, making silly faces, his laughter echoing through the garden. Kenya watched him, hidden behind a large acacia tree. This was the Paypoy she knew. The Paypoy who was kind, gentle, and surprisingly good with kids. Yung puso niya biglang kumirot. Not with anger this time, but with a strange, unfamiliar warmth. Could it be? Na yung Philip Montesilu at si Pipoy, ang janitor, ay iisa lang pala talaga. Na yung kabaitan na nakita niya, hindi yun pagkukunwari. Her thoughts were interrupted by the sound of a car approaching. A sleek, red sports car pulled up in front of the mansion, and out stepped Carl and Hallie. Napatigil si Kenya. Anong ginagawa nila dito? Carl, looking flustered and a little desperate, spotted Kenya. Kenya! Thank God! We need to talk to you. Hallie, her eyes red-rimmed and puffy, ran towards Kenya. At Kenya, I'm so sorry. Please, patawarin mo na kami ni Carl. Mali kami. Sobrang mali. Kenya just stared at them, her face a mask of cold indifference. Anong kailangan nyo? We want you back, Kenya, Carl said, his voice pleading. I was a fool. Nabulag ako. Ikaw talaga ang mahal ko. Si Hallie, it was just a mistake, a stupid fling. A fling? Hallie cried, glaring at Carl. How dare you? Minahal kita, Carl. Enough. Kenya said, her voice sharp. Hindi ako interesado sa drama niyong dalawa. Umalis na kayo. Pero ate, Hallie sob, nag-aalala kami sa'yo. Nabalitaan namin nagpakasal ka daw. Sa isang janitor. Her voice was filled with a mixture of disbelief and disdain. Kenya, hindi ka ba nag-iisip? Paano mo nagawa yun? After everything Papa and Mama have provided for you. Isusukli mo lang sa ganito. The words hit Kenya hard. Yung hiya, yung galit bumalik na naman. She looked at Hallie, at Carl, at their expensive clothes, their judgmental eyes. And then, she thought of Philip, of Pepoy, playing with the children in the garden, his face alight with genuine joy. Before Kenya could answer, Philip walked over, the children trailing happily behind him. He had heard the commotion. His eyes, when they landed on Carl and Hallie, turned cold as ice. Is there a problem here? Philip asked, his voice low and dangerous. He instinctively stood beside Kenya, his presence a silent shield. Carl and Hallie stared at Philip, momentarily stunned by his transformation. This wasn't the gusgusing janitor they had imagined. This man, he exuded power, confidence. Sino ka? Carl stammered. I'm Philip Montecillo, Philip said calmly. Kenya's husband. He put a protective arm around Kenya's shoulders. The zealous in Carl's eyes was palpable. Montecillo. As in. Montecillo Construction. He looked from Philip to Kenya, then back to Philip. So, this is your new game, Kenya. Iniwan mo ako para sa mas mayaman? Kenya wanted to scream, to deny it, to tell them that this was all a complicated mess. Pero hindi siya makapagsalita. Dahil sa loob-loob niya, confused pa rin siya. Laro lang ba to? O totoo na? The line between her desire for revenge and her growing feelings for Philip was becoming increasingly blurred. Umalis na kayo, Philip said, his voice firm, leaving no room for argument. Kenya doesn't want to see you. Carl and Hallie, looking defeated and a little scared, finally retreated to their sports car and sped away. Once they were gone, Kenya pulled away from Philip's arm. Salamat, she said, her voice barely a whisper. Wala yun, Philip said, his eyes searching hers. Kenya, about what they said about me being rich, it doesn't change how I feel about you. Does it? Kenya challenged, her old doubts resurfacing. Or am I just another acquisition for the Montecillo Empire? Isang suitable wife para sa tagapagmana? Philip looked hurt. Hindi mo pa rin ba ako pinaniniwalaan, Kenya? Hindi ko alam, Philip, Kenya admitted, her voice filled with kalituhan. Hindi ko na alam kung ano ng paniniwalaan ko. She looked at him, at the man who was both Pipoy and Philip, the janitor and the heir. Sino ka ba talaga? At ako, sino ba talaga ako sa buhay mo? The question hung in the air, unanswered. Laro lang ba o totoo na? The confusion in Kenya's heart was a raging storm. She was falling for him, she knew that. But could she trust him? Could she trust this love that was born out of lies and desperation? The kilik she felt whenever he was near was undeniable. But so was the fear. And the choice she had to make, it was a choice that would define her future and his. The confrontation with Carl and Hallie and Philip's protective stance left Kenya even more confused. Yung tanong na ilaro lang ba o totoo na, ay paulit-ulit na naglalaro sa isip niya. She wanted to believe Philip, to trust the sincerity in his eyes, pero yung mga kasinungalingan niya noon, yung biglaang pagbabago ng pagkatao niya, it was hard to ignore. Adding to her turmoil was her mother, Dimrak Ariola. After the initial shock and anger of Kenya's runaway bride incident, Dimrak Ariola had started calling, trying to reason with her, trying to convince her to come home and to fix things with Carl. Kenya, anak, her mother's voice would plead over the phone, hindi to tama. Pinakasalan mo ang isang lalaking hindi mo kilala. Isang janitor, for heaven's sake. Ano na lang ang sasabihin ng mga tao? Ng mga amiga ko. Ma, his name is Philip, Kenya would tear-eyed to explain, and he's not. Don't care what his name is. Dimrak Ariola would cut her off, ang alam ko lang, sinira mo ang kinabukasan mo. Si Carl, mayaman yun, edukado, galing sa mabuting pamilya. Yang Philip mo, ano nang maibibigay niyan sa'yo? One evening, during a particularly heated phone call, Dimrak Ariola delivered the words that cut Kenya to the core. Hindi tunay ang pagmamahal sa isang biglaang kasal, Kenya. Paghihiganti lang yan. O baka naman, desperada ka lang. Pinili mo yung lalaking yan kaysa sa pamilya mo, kaysa sa amin. Unknown to Kenya, Philip was standing just outside her door, about to knock. He had overheard his mother-in-law's harsh words. He heard the pain in Kenya's voice as she tried to defend their relationship. Pinili mo yung lalaking yan kaysa sa amin? Philip's heart clenched. Nasaktan siya. Not for himself, but for Kenya. He didn't want to be the cause of her pain, the reason for her estrangement from her family. Quietly, Philip turned and walked away, he knew resolve forming in his mind. Maybe Imrek Ariola was right. Maybe he was just a source of conflict, a burden to Kenya. Maybe the best thing he could do for her was to let her go. The next morning, Kenya woke up to an empty mansion. Philip was gone. Nag-iwan ng ito ng isang maikling sulat sa ibabaw ng kanyang unan. Kenya, patawad. Siguro nga, tama ang nanay mo. Hindi ito pag-ibig. Siguro, paghihiganti lang talaga. O baka, isang malaking pagkakamali. Malaya ka na. Hanapin mo ang tunay mong kaligayahan. Ni. Walang emosyon. Walang paliwanag. Just goodbye. Kenya stared at the letter, her hands trembling. Galit. Lungkot. At isang hindi maipaliwanag na takot. He left. Just like that. Without even saying goodbye to her face. Was their connection, the fragile hope she had started to feel, really just nothing to him? A wave of anger washed over her. How dare he? How dare he make her feel something, make her hope, only to leave her like this? Paghihiganti. Siya ba ang naghihiganti o si Philip? Determined, Kenya started packing her meager belongings. Aalis na rin siya. Babalik siya sa Giurgis. Mabini sa maliit nilang kubo. But not to be Paypoy's wife. Kundi para hanapin siya. Para singilin siya. Para sa mga sagot na hindi niya ibinigay. She spent the next few days frantically searching for Paypoy in Isla de Clara. Nagtanong-tanong siya sa mga tricycle driver, sa mga tindera sa palengke, sa mga taga-barangay. But no one had seen him. It was as if Philip Montesilos and Paypoy the janitor had vanished into thin air. One rainy afternoon, exhausted and disheartened, Kenya found herself wandering aimlessly along the beach, the same beach where she had first felt that spark of connection with Philip, where he had told her about his dreams of a simple life. The rain was pouring, mirroring the tears streaming down her face. Napaupo siya sa basang buhangin, humahagulgol. Philip! Paypoy! Nasaan ka na ba? She cried out to the raging sea. Bakit mo ako iniwan? Bakit? As she sat there, soaked and shivering, her eyes fell on something half buried in the sand, near a cluster of rocks where Philip used to sit and sketch. It was an old, battered notebook, Paypoy's notebook, the one he always carried. With trembling hands, Kenya picked it up. The pages were damp, some of the ink smudged, but it was still readable. She opened it, and her breath caught in her throat. It was filled with sketches of her. Her, laughing at the palenque. Her, scolding him. Her, sleeping peacefully on the papag. Her, with that defiant glint in her eyes. Each sketch was infused with a raw, tender emotion that made Kenya's heart ache. And then, tucked between the pages, she found a faded photograph. This picture of a beautiful little girl, with bright, laughing eyes, holding a small, worn-out teddy bear. The same little girl whose picture Paypoy used to keep in his wallet. Underneath the photo, in Paypoy's familiar handwriting, were the words, Annalyn. Il la little star. Elle doit forever caver. Annalyn. His daughter. He had a daughter. Kenya flipped through more pages, her hands shaking. There were more sketches of Annalyn. And then, heartbreaking entries. About a sudden illness. About's desperate fight to save her. About losing her. Iniwan niya ako, gaya ng pag-iwan sa akin ng nanay niya sa altar noon. Ang sakit. Doble-doble ang sakit. Wala na akong dahilan para mabuhay. His wife had left him at the altar. And his daughter was gone. The pieces of the puzzle started to fall into place. Paypoy's sadness, his quietness, his aversion to wealth and society, it all made terrible, heartbreaking sense. He wasn't running away from an arranged marriage with some unknown heiress. He was running away from a pain so profound, it had shattered his world. And the arranged marriage with Kenya? The one proposed by Rolando Montecillo, who, Kenya now realized, was probably Don Rafael's rival, trying to exploit Philip's vulnerability. Philip had agreed to it, not for revenge, not for money, but because he saw kindred spirit in Kenya. Someone else who had been left at the altar, someone else who was hurting. He had agreed to it, perhaps, to save her from the same pain he had experienced. The empathy Nami felt was overwhelming. All this time, she had been so focused on her own pain, her own betrayal, that she had failed to see his. She had accused him of lying, of playing games, when all along, he was carrying a grief so heavy, it was a wonder he could still smile. "Oh, Pipoy," Kenya whispered, clutching the notebook to her chest, the rain and her tears mingling on its worn cover. "Patawarin mo ako." The galit was gone. The lungkot was still there, but it was now mixed with deep, profound understanding, and a love that was purer, stronger, than she had ever imagined. She had to find him. She had to tell him she understood. She had to tell him she loved him. Not Philip Montecillo the here. But Pipoy. Her Pipoy. The janitor with sad eyes and a broken heart, the man who had, in his own quiet way, tried to save her. Armed with Pipoy's journal and a newfound understanding of his past, Kenya felt a surge of determination. Hindi na siya magpapatalo sa takot o sa pride. She had to find him. She had to tell him everything. Her search led her back to Birgiv Mabini, to their small, shared shack near the dump site. It was empty, of course, but neighbor told her that Pipoy had been seen occasionally at the San Rafael terminal, doing odd jobs, looking lost. And that's where Kenya found him, few days later. He was sweeping a dusty corner of the terminal, his shoulders lumped, his eyes dull and lifeless. He looked thinner, more haggard than she remembered. Ang sakit sa puso ni Kenya na makita siyang ganun. "Pipoy," she said softly, approaching him. He looked up, startled. When he saw her, a flicker of pain, then resignation, crossed his face. "Kenya, anong ginagawa mo dito?" "Hinahanap ka," she said simply. "Pwede ba tayong mag-usap?" They found a quiet spot behind a row of parked jeepneys. Kenya took deep breath. "Pipoy o Philip, nabasa ko yung journal mo. Yung tungkol kay Annalyn at sa asawa mo dati." Philip flinched, his eyes clouding over with a familiar sadness. "So, alam mo na," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "Alam mo na kung gaano ako kapathetic. Isang lalaking iniwan sa altar, isang amang hindi nagawang protektahan ang sariling anak." "Hindi ka pathetic, Philip," Kenya said, her voice firm but gentle. She reached out and took his hand. This time, he didn't pull away. "You're a survivor. You're strong. At yung pagmamahal mo kay Annalyn, ramdam na ramdam ko yun sa bawat drawing mo, sa bawat salita mo." Philip looked at her, his eyes filled with unshed tears. "Pero niloko kita, Kenya. Ginamit ko yung sitwasyon mo para makatakas sa sarili kong multo." "Alam ko," Kenya said. "At nasaktan ako. Sobra. Pero naiintindihan na kita ngayon, Felipe. Naiintindihan ko kung bakit mo ginawa yun." She squeezed his hand. "At ako yung humingi sa'yo ng kasal, di ba? Ako yung desperada noon. Siguro, pareho lang tayong naghahanap ng paraan para makatakas sa sakit." A fragile silence settled between them, a silence filled with unspoken emotions, with shared pain, and with a dawning, hesitant pag-asa. "Kenya," Philip finally said, his voice thick with emotion. "Hindi lang pagtakas yung naramdaman ko sa'yo. Minahal kita. Minahal kita bilang si Kenya, yung babaeng matapang, yung babaeng palaban, yung babaeng nagparamdam sa akin na pwede palang sumaya ulit. At yung Pipoy. Yun yung totoong ako, Kenya. Yun yung ako na walang yaman, walang apelyido, walang obligasyon. Yun yung ako na minahal mo kahit saglit lang. Tears streamed down Kenya's face. Hindi lang saglit, Felipe. Minahal kita. At mahal pa rin kita. The kumpisal, raw and honest, hung in the air. Nung una, siguro ginamit kita para sa paghihiganti ko. Pero habang tumatagal natutunan kitang mahalin. Natutunan kong mahalin si Pipoy, ang janitor na may malungkot na mata pero may gininto ang puso. At ngayon, mahal ko si Felipe, ang lalaking handang talikuran ang lahat para sa mga taong mahalaga sa kanya. Philip stared at her, his eyes wide with disbelief, then with a joy so profound it made his whole face light up. Kenya T. But before he could say more, their moment was shattered. Kenya. Philip. Thank God, nahanap din namin kayo. It was Carl. And Hallie. And Rek Ariola. They looked frantic, worried. What's going on? Kenya asked, her guard immediately up. Si Hallie T. Carl began, his voice trembling. Buntis siya, Kenya. Kenya felt her blood run cold. Buntis si Hallie? Kay Carl? Pero T. Carl continued, looking at Hallie with a mixture of anger and pity, pero hindi ako ang ama. What? The twist was so unexpected, Kenya and Philip could only stare. Si Carl, anong sinasabi mo? Hallie sobbed, clutching her stomach. I'm sorry, Hallie, Carl said, his voice filled with a strange mixture of regret and resolve. Pero hindi ko na kayang magsinungaling. Matagal ko nang alam. Nagpadna test ako. Hindi ako ang ama ng dinadala mo. He then looked at Kenya, his eyes pleading. Kenya, I know I messed up. Sobra. Pero si Hallie niloko niya tayong lahat. Ginamit niya ako para makuha ka ulit, para sirain kayo ni Felipe. Hallie broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. Kailangan ko lang ng atensyon, Kenya, she cried. Lagi na lang ikaw. Ikaw yung maganda, ikaw yung matalino, ikaw yung paborito. Gusto ko lang maramdaman na ako naman. Na ako yung pipiliin. The raw pain and desperation in Hallie's voice hit Kenya hard. For the first time, she saw her sister not as a rival, but as someone who was also hurting, someone who was also lost. Rek Ariola rushed to Hallie's side, comforting her. Then, she looked at Kenya, her eyes filled with new understanding. Anak, patawarin mo kami. Patawarin mo ako sa lahat ng pressure, sa lahat ng sakit na naidulot ko sa'yo. Kenya didn't know what to say. The revelations were too much, too fast. Philip, who had been silent throughout the exchange, stepped forward. He put a comforting arm around Kenya. Walang perpektong tao, tita, he said, addressing Rek Ariola. Lahat tayo nagkakamali. Lahat tayo nasasaktan. Pero ang mahalaga, may mga taong pipiliin kang mahalin, pipiliin kang unawain, kahit ano pa ang sakit, kahit ano pa ang pagkakamali. He looked at Kenya, his eyes shining with a love so pure, so unconditional, it took her breath away. In that moment, Kenya knew. This was it, this was real. This was the love she had been searching for, the love she deserved. Hindi yung yaman ni Carl, hindi yung approval ng nanay niya, kundi yung tahimik pero matatag na pagmamahal ni Felipe. Ni Pipoy. She looked at Carl, then at Hallie. There was still pain, yes. But the anger, the desire for revenge, it was gone. Replaced by a strange sense of pity. And forgiveness. Okay na ako, Carl, Kenya said softly. Okay na kami ni Hallie. She looked at her sister, she knew, fragile understanding between them. Mag-usap tayo mamaya, Hallie. Aayusin natin to. Then, she turned to Philip, her heart overflowing. Kung pwede lang bawiin lahat, Philip, she whispered, sisiguraduhin kong hindi na kita papakawalan pa. Philip smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. Hindi mo na kailangang bumawi, Kenya. Dahil nandito na ako. At hinding-hindi na ako aalis. The pag-asa that had bloomed in their hearts was now a steady, unwavering flame. They had faced their pasts, their demons, their mistakes. And they had emerged, not unscathed, but stronger, wiser, and more in love than ever. The journey to their happily ever after was far from over. But now, they would face it together. Hindi na laro. Totoo na. The aftermath of Carl and Hallie's confession was a period of slow, painful, but ultimately, healing conversations. Kenya and Hallie had a long, tearful heart-to-heart, finally addressing years of unspoken jealousies and insecurities. Hindi naging madali, pero for the first time, nagkaintindihan sila bilang magkapatid. Rack Ariola, humbled and regretful, started to genuinely tearside to understand Kenya and even Philip. Si Carl, well, he had his own mess to clean up, but he seemed to have learned a valuable, if painful, lesson. Pero ang pinakamahalagang pag-uusap ay yung kina Kenya at Philip. They talked for hours, days even, bearing their souls, sharing their fears, their hopes, their dreams. Walang dalian. Walang pilitan. Just two people, flawed and scared, learning to trust and love again. A few months later, Philip brought Kenya back to the barangay hall of Giriv. Mabini. The same sleepy-looking barangay captain was there, looking a little less sleepy this time, and Manang Lolit, the secretary, who greeted them with knowing smile. Naaalala mo pa ba tong lugar na to, Kenya? Philip asked, his hand gently holding hers. Kenya nodded, a wistful smile on her face. Paano ko makakalimutan? Dito nagsimula ang kabaliwan natin. Philip chuckled. Then, he knelt on one knee, right there in the dusty, humble barangay hall. He pulled out, not a diamond ring, but a simple, handcrafted wooden ring carved with teeny sampaguita flowers, a throwback to the first flower he had ever given her. Kenya Ariola, he began, his voice thick with emotion, his eyes shining with a love that was both profound and unwavering. Noong una tayong nagkita dito, pareho tayong tumatakas. Pareho tayong nasaktan. Pareho tayong naghahanap ng kung ano. Yung kasal natin noon, hindi yun dahil sa pagmamahal. Siguro, dahil sa galit, sa takot, sa desperasyon. He paused, taking a deep breath. Pero ngayon, Kenya, nandito ako ulit sa harap mo. Hindi na bilang si Pipoy ang janitor na nagtatago. Hindi na bilang si Felipe Montesilio Zehe, ang tagapagmanang napipilitan. Kundi bilang si Felipe, ang lalaking minahal ka, minamahal ka, at mamahalin ka habang buhay. He looked deep into her eyes. Kenya, mahal kita. Higit pa sa kayang sabihin ng mga salita. Will you marry me again? This time, hindi dahil sa galit o takot. This time, dahil sa pagmamahal. Dahil ikaw ang tadhana ko. Tears streamed down Kenya's face, tears of pure, unadulterated joy. All the pain, all the heart touch, all the confusion they all melted away, replaced Yifi an overwhelming sense of kilig, pag-asa, and profound, soul-deep love. Philip, she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. Yes. Pipiliin pa rin kita kahit sa ibang buhay. Yes, I will marry you. He slipped the wooden ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. He stood up and pulled her into a passionate, all-consuming kiss, sealing their promise, their love, right there in the place where their unlikely journey began. Manang Lolit and Mang Cardo, the Tanod, clapped and cheered, a small but heartfelt audience to their true love story. Their second wedding was as simple and as heartfelt as Philip's proposal. It was held on the beach of Isla de Clara, at sunset, the eggs painted in breathtaking hues of orange and gold. Wala nang mamahaling gown o grand reception. Kenya wore simple, flowing white dress, her hair adorned with fresh flowers. Philip wore comfortable linen barong. Ang mga bisita nila, yung mga taong tunay na nagmamahal sa kanila, their families, yes, even Don Rafael and Enrique Ariola, who now shared a surprisingly cordial relationship, Sister Agnes and the children from Bahay Pag-asa, na ngayon ay bahaghari home pa rin at patuloy na tinutulungan ni Kenya at Felipe at yung mga kaibigan nila mula sa Giriv. Amihan at Giriv. Mabini. It was a wedding filled with laughter, tears, and an overwhelming sense of ginhawa and closure. A few years later, Kenya stood on the terrace of their beautiful, but not ostentatious home in Isla de Clara, a home Philip had designed himself, a home filled with light, love, and the happy chatter of their soon-to-be-born daughter. She was holding tea-pen and e-journal, her gaze fixed on the tranquil sea. She began to write, a soft smile on her lips. To my dearest daughter, her voice-over began, as the camera panned over scenes of their life. Philip, now respected architect known for his sustainable and community-focused designs, patiently teaching a group of Bahaghari home children how to build a small birdhouse. Kenya, now a successful writer and advocate for children's welfare, laughing as she read a story to another group of eager listeners. Their families, Ariola and Montecillo, celebrating a simple Noche Buena together, the old feuds and misunderstandings replaced give a genuine warmth and affection. Minsan, sa buhay, darating ka sa punto na parang gumuho na ang lahat. Akala mo wala ng pag-asa. Akala mo yun na ang katapusan. Ganyan ang naramdaman ko noon, anak, noong araw na akala ko, wawasakin na ng sakit at pagtataksil ang buong pagkatao ko. The scene shifted to Kenya, looking at a framed photo on her bedside table. It was the picture of her and Philip, on their second wedding day, their faces radiant with joy, the simple wooden rings on their fingers. Pero minsan din, anak, sa gitna ng pinakamatinding unos, doon mo pala matatagpuan ang iyong tadhana. Sa lugar na hindi mo inaasahan. Sa tao na hindi mo inaasahan. Minsan, kailangan mong masaktan, kailangan mong madapa, kailangan mong maligaw, para mahanap mo yung tamang daan pa uwi. Kenya gently touched her growing belly. Philip walked onto the terrace and wrapped his arms around her from behind, resting his chin on her shoulder, his hands protectively cradling her stomach. Ang tatay mo, anak, dumating siya sa buhay ko na parang isang tahimik na anino. Isang janitor na may malungkot na mata. Pero sa likod ng anino na iyon, nandoon pala ang liwanag na matagal ko nang hinahanap. Tinuruan niya akong magmahal ulit. Tinuruan niya akong magtiwala ulit. Tinuruan niya akong maniwala na kahit gaano pa kasakit ang nakaraan, laging may naghihintay na mas magandang bukas. The final scene, Kenya and Philip, watching the sunset, their faces filled with a quiet, contented love. Kenya closed her journal. Hindi ko asawa ang pinili ko noon, anak, her voice-over concluded, filled with wisdom born from pain and a love that had conquered all. Hindi ko pinili yung yaman, o yung pangalan, o yung approval ng iba. Ang pinili ko yung puso niya. Ang pinili ko yung pagmamahal niya. Ang pinili ko ang aking tadhana. And as the credits rolled, the camera focused on the title of Kenya's latest best-selling novel, displayed prominently in a bookstore window, Iniwan sa Altar, pero may lalaking sumalo, a true story of love, betrayal, and second chances. Their story, born from heartbreak and desperation, had become an inspiration. A testament to the enduring power of love, forgiveness, and the beautiful, unexpected ways fate can lead you to your happily ever after. Una sa lahat, gusto kong magpasalamat ng buong buo at nag-uumapaw sa inyong pagsama sa bawat moment, bawat aray kube, na eksena, at bawat sana all, na tagpo sa love story ni na Kenya at Pipoy, Philip pala. From the wedding walkout to the surprise mansion, hanggang sa simpleng kahoy na singsing, grabe ang naging biyahe natin, no? Alam nyo ba, habang binubuo ko ang kwento nila, para akong laging nasa isang napaka-intense na teleserye. May mga gabing napupuyat ako kay isip kung paano ba mabibigyan ng hustisya, yung sakit na naramdaman ni Kenya, o kung paano ko ipapakita yung tinatagong bigat sa puso ni Pipoy. Aminado ako, may mga part na gusto ko na lang silang ihag pareho at sabihing, okay lang yan, malalagpasan nyo rin yan. Ang sarap sa pakiramdam na makalikha ng mga karakter na, kahit flawed, ay